All right, this is our standard ROMR backer for bino harness mounts. And this was designed to go on anything that has either the loops on the bottom that hang off, such as Stone Glaciers and FHFs and Alaska Guide Creations and the new Badlands. It will also hook up to anything that has a molly on the bottom. All right, and these come in various sizes and shapes. Sometimes there's 2 and sometimes there's 3, or it's laser cut like this T&K. And we have this adjustable, so there's 2 sets of holes here, so you can move these in or out to adjust it to hook up to pretty much any molly that might be on the bottom of a bino harness. And then you just thread these 2 clips through whichever the loops or the molly that you want, and then you're hooked up to the bottom. Then you can either run the included waist belt, right? Just clip in both sides around your torso, or you can run, if the bino harness has standard 1-inch male side release buckles, not anything fancy or, you know, different profiles or different shapes, just the standard 1-inch side release buckles. You can run the harness right to the holster instead of the pouch, right? And then you can just zip tie those behind there or let them dangle, whichever. Some people prefer that over the waist belt. Try it out, see which one you like best. Now for the holster, our quick detach is pretty simple. You just line up the lugs onto the holster here. All right. Then we're going to slide it in and slide the holster down into these keyways. And then snap the latch shut. Pretty simple and streamlined. We used this specific one just because it's so thin here. All the others create a much thicker QD interface, so this kept the bulk to an absolute bulk and weight to an absolute minimum. All right, to release this, you just lift the latch and then slide the holster back up the keyway and out the bigger holes. Now this holster shell that comes with the ROMR kit can go to pack mount holsters, chest rigs. We've got a Velcro backer, and then of course all our bino harness options as well. Hook up your ROMR backer bino harness mount to your Sitka Mountain optics. We've changed it up a little bit. You used to burn holes in the wings here. We switched that up. Now we figured out how to get these straps on here so you can just use the straps like we do on our universals. We're gonna have to thread it a little bit differently though, so we can get the snap on the back side of this backer. So what we're going to do is thread this loop, or I'm sorry, yeah, this loop, we call them soft loops. We're gonna thread it through the innermost molly on the cummerbund of the Sitka here. And you're just gonna thread that up through there. It's gonna be pretty snug. You might need to use a screwdriver or something to get it in there. Just be careful because they're both kind of rubberized loops and they can tear if you gouge it with a metal tool. But just be patient and work it in there. It'll fit. Okay, just be real tight. All right, you're gonna pull that through. Now what you're going to do is you're gonna mount these snap hardwares. They're gonna get mounted to the back here, okay? And then you're gonna take the post, that's the threaded portion of the hardware. You're gonna stick it in to this loop onto the front, okay? And then you're going to take the snap and your screw on the back. And now your snap ends up on the back, okay? And out of the way of the draw. That was an issue we had with the universals prior. You know, the snap was on the front and it was rubbing on some of the firearms. So now it's on the back, it's out of the way. You don't have to worry about that issue anymore. And we also don't have to burn holes in our Sitka anymore. So we're going to thread this soft loop through, okay? We want the snap to be on the back side of this, okay? And we're going to use the outermost holes on the backer. This is for the Sitka, this hole here. Okay, so these are gonna go like such, and then we'll thread the snap hardware onto the back side of this, and then snap it closed, you're good to go. And you will also have a waist belt to keep this from flopping around on you. All right, now we're hooking up our ROMR bino mount to a Kuiu. All right, so the first step you're gonna do is you're gonna have to mount these soft loops onto your backer. Okay, it's gonna come with a little set of hardware. All right, you need to use these thin posts that have these little ridges here and no slot across the back here, okay? It's a super thin one. The one you need to use is much thinner, okay? So we're using the thin one. That will go through the same side as the cap, right? This is called the cap of the snap hardware. It's gonna go through the same side like this, all right? Now you're going to put that into the second hole in, not the outside, the second hole in. We're gonna go to that hole, all right? And then we'll put on our washer and our short screw. All right. Now I would also put your firearm on here so that you can get the distance off the bottom of the holster correct, right? And if you're gonna run a pouch, right, that Velcro on pouch, if you're gonna put that, make sure that's mounted as well. And then you can line up the holster and get marked where you're gonna burn your holes to screw these snaps on. See how I have a couple holes? I've messed with this a few times, and you adjust the ride height of your holster by two things. You can do it by this snap, and you can also do it by these three holes. If you ended up a little low, you could shorten this strap up and suck it back up tight. Okay. The first and best way to align it is getting these snaps burned into their correct place. So we're gonna put our holster on here. We're gonna make sure our pouch clears, our optics clears, whatever height that is, right? Then we're gonna mark and we'll burn our holes and screw our snap hardware on there, okay? These clips, these gate keep clips, you don't need to keep these on here for the Kuiu. You can just take them off and stash them in your gear closet somewhere. They will not be needed for this Kuiu mount. All right, these are for the MOLLE and the bino harnesses that have loops on the bottom. You're also going to have a waist belt to keep this from flopping around. All right, here we have our ROMR pack mount backers. We have a Mystery Ranch version sized for the Mystery Ranch Micro MOLLE. You can also wear this on pants belt if you want a clip-on mount for your pants. Right, now we're moving on to the MOLLE version. This is Kifaru, XOK4, Eberly stock, anything with a true MOLLE on the waist belt, this one is gonna fit on there. We also have a XOK3, Initial Ascent, I believe Kuiu, anything with a 1.5 inch or 2 inch web belt that you can undo one end to be able to slide the web belt through this mount. And now we also have a Stone Glacier, right? So for the X curve or the crux, with the two 1 inch MOLLE, or with the two 1 inch webbing straps on the sides there. This can also be worn on a regular pants belt. This is sized for 1.5 inch for your pants belt if you want to wear this there as well. The latch works the same as the bino harness mount and the chest rig. You just line up your studs into the 3 holes, press down, and then slide the holster down into the keyway here. And then you're going to make sure that your latch is snapped down, and that will keep this locked in place. To remove it, you just lift the latch, lift the holster up the keyway, and slide it back out. All right, here we have our ROMR chest rig. This is a 3-point chest harness. And it is pretty simple to use. To put it on, you're going to undo the clip. You're going to put just your arm through this loop that this harness makes, not your head and arm, just your arm. So if you're right-handed, you'll put your right arm through. If you're left-handed, left arm. All right, then this strap will come back around behind your body and clip back in here. Now to adjust it properly, you're going to put your holster on, or just this plate, and hold it where you want the holster to be, okay, onto your chest. And then you're going to snug up both of these straps. This goes around your waist. All right, we're gonna get the waist belt snugged, and the goal is to get this ring centered in your back. Okay, so we want both of these straps snugged up equally, so this is in the center of your back. Once that's done, you snug up your shoulder strap, okay? That's the last thing to do, and then what that's gonna do is keep this from flopping around on you. That'll get that snug, and then we can take this Velcro and wrap up any of the loose straps that we have and keep it nice and neat, okay? That is adjusting your chest harness. And of course, the latches works the same on all of them. Line up your 3 lugs, press down, and then slide the holster down the keyway. And make sure you're getting all 3. I missed that. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to press the latch down to make sure it's secure, and now we're locked in place. We do have a hole into the backer here so that you can get your finger under and lift this latch. And that made that a little easier. Okay, to get it off, we're just gonna lift the latch, and we're gonna press the holster up the keyway and pop it back out.